first witness, please.
They call Carissa Hernandez, Moore Hernandez.
While that witness is coming in, ladies and gentlemen, one thing I did forget to mention to you, at any point in time during the course of the trial, you need to breathe comfort break, okay? Raise your hand, and we'll take a 5-minute break. You got to kind of grab it, let you guys that. So, don't be shy about asking for it, okay?
You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yourselves both.
Is Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Correct. And that's your married name, right?
Yes.
And what was your maiden name?
Moore.
Ms. Hernandez, how do you know Benny Brown?
He's my cousin.
First cousin, second cousin?
I want to say second cousin. I think it's second cousin.
So y'all's parents were first cousins?
Yes.
And Benny in the courtroom here today? See him?
Mississippi.
How long have you known Benny?
All my life.
Y'all both grew up here in Lawrence County?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry.
And I'll take you at this point back to a night that I'm sure you remember again, July 13th, 2011. Where were you that night?
I was at my grandmother's house where I was living at the time.
Okay, who's your grandmother?
Daisy Young.
And did you have an opportunity to talk to Benny that night?
Yes, sir. He called the house that night.
Okay. You answered the phone and talked to him?
Yes.
Could you tell the jury, Ms. Hernandez, what Benny told you, what the nature of that conversation was?
He called, and at first I didn't really know who it was because I couldn't really understand his voice because he was crying a lot, crying, screaming into the phone. And when I looked at the call, I didn't realize who it was. I kept trying to talk to him and calm him down and ask him, "What are you saying? What are you saying?" And he just kept saying, I did it. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said, I shot her. And I was like, what are you talking about? So by that time, I gave my grandmother the phone, and we just went from there, and that's where we found out where everything was going on.
It said, I shot her, referring to Peaches.
Yes.
You knew Peaches as well?
Yes.
And what was her real name? Peaches' real name?
Nicole Kingsbury.
Tell the jury how long Peaches and Benny Brown have been together.
Wow. Some years. A long time. Wow. Maybe, I'm trying to think. I want to say 10, 15 years maybe, I guess. It's been a long time. I've known them to be together for a while.
The time you got this call in July 13, 2011, were they living together at that time?
Yes.
To your understanding, they would cohabitate?
Yes, they
They had kids together?
Yes, 3 children.
They have a rocky relationship with Mr. Hernandez?
Just as well as anybody else. Argument here, there. I mean, I wasn't around them enough to really know their relationship that well, so I just know them being together.
From your perspective?
Yes.
Did you have occasion after you got this call from your cousin Benny Brown saying he shot her, he'd done it? What did you do after that, Mr. Hernandez?
Well, me and my mom and my grandmother just basically just freaked out because we didn't really know what was going on, at the time. And I grabbed my cell phone. Well, actually, we ran out the door, not knowing what direction to go in at the time, because he was also saying that he was going to kill himself. That was what was scaring us so bad, you know, all was going on. We didn't know where he was. And I grabbed my cell phone, and at that time, I called the police to alert them, to let them know, you know, what was going on. And just rode around trying to find him, went to his house trying to find him and everything.
Okay, after you talked to police and called the people that found him, the police department, is that right?
Yes, sir.
You told them what Danny had told you?
Yes, sir.
And you've had a chance to review State 74, which is a recording of that call you had with law enforcement?
Yes.
Okay, and that's an accurate
Yes.
representation of your call?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm sorry.
Your Honor, if we could publish State 74 with your
Without objection, I believe you may proceed.
Yes, could you have a question for me? Could you tell me if y'all had any trouble at the Fair Automotive Plant in Mount
Not sure. Why, you got some info?
Yes, my cousin called me, and he's from Orange County. Orange County gave me the number. I'm sorry, wait a minute. Said that my cousin said he had killed his girlfriend on the job, which is Fair Automotive. Now, I don't know what happened with her, but he's called Orange City and said he's ready to kill himself, so we're trying to find him to find out what's going on. So I need somebody to tell you if Fair Automotive is here.
Alright, what's the phone number for you?
864
How long?
358
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
358
358?
1921.
Okay, what's your name, ma'am?
Clarissa Moore.
Carissa?
Yes.
Alright. We'll see what this fly out there.
Okay, thank you. Doctor, please. Yes, ma'am. This is Clarissa Moore calling again. Hold on, please. Hold on, ma'am. The police told us to get away from that house. Don't have nothing to do with it right now. They didn't know what was going on then. They didn't want us around. It could be dangerous. No, the police man was on call the wall, and they ignored them. They ignored time for them. He told me. What is that? Exactly. Hey, babe. Go to the house, go in the house. They got me on hold. She knew who it was I called. She said, hold on for me, like. Hold on. Friend. Who is it? put you on hold, and how can I help you? No, I was calling to see that they got a phone call from Fair Automotive and found the inpatient accident and they have it there in their claim. Yes, ma'am. Did they ever get a phone call? What happened? Please, I don't know what. Who is this? This is my cousin. See, we're trying to find my cousin. He called us tonight. We were the first one to call and said he had shot his girlfriend and killed her. Well, we're trying to find out what he is. I called. Well, he is fine. What is his name? His name is Steve White. Steve White. That's my cousin. Yeah. Oh, Lord, please. They had an accident in their tank. I don't know what. I honestly, I don't know what's going on. I'm the dispatcher. They have not told me anything. Oh, Lord. Is there any officer or something? My grandmother is really, really, really sick. I need to tell somebody something. Okay. Give me your name and number. It's 864. 684. 8520. 8520. Just give me your name. Clarissa Moore. Clarissa Moore. Please contact me. Okay. And you're Benny's cousin? Yes, ma'am. We just left his house and he's not there. We're trying to find him and, see what's going on. The police told me to leave the house and they didn't want to there take you back. Yeah. So, my grandmother's really upset. I don't want to have to go to the emergency room. I'm just trying to find out. Okay, sweetie, there's nothing I can tell you because I don't know. But, whenever I have an officer come into the building and he's available, I'll have him give you a call. Thanks, ma'am. Okay.
Ms. Hernandez, did you ever find Benny Brown that night?
Yes.
He was at his house?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
How long were you there in the yard at his house?
All night.
There when he came out of the house shooting the gun?
Yes.
Was anybody hit there that you could see?
No, I have a fear of guns because my grandparents were shot when I was younger, so I kind of took off running.
You heard gunshots?
Yes.
Great question.
Yes.
No further questions.
Cross.
Mr. Hernandez, I know that it's probably difficult to be here today, but I've got to ask you just a couple quick questions, and that's all right.
Yes, sir.
I think you said that you and Benny grew up together, right?
He's older than me, but we grew up together.
Right. So you were around him and you know his voice and everything, right?
Yes.
And I think you said that when he called you and you answered the phone, he was so upset that you didn't even recognize his voice.
Yes, I couldn't understand at first what he was saying and recognize who it was at first.
So he was in a real emotional state
Yes.
and crying.
Yes.
And I think from your testimony, well, he also said, told you that he was thinking about committing suicide, right?
Yes.
And I think from your testimony, it's fair to say that you were very concerned about what had happened to Peaches.
Yes.
Because you know her a long time, too,
Yes, sir.
and liked her. And you were concerned about Benny to give you a reason why you went to his house that night.
Yes, sir.
I know this is a difficult thing to answer my questions.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Ma'am, thank you.
Because we'd ask that you do.
No, okay.
Ma'am, thank you very much for coming. You are free to go. Call you next witness, solicitor.
They call it basic, man.
You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case will prove the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Yeah.
At Fabricao.
Okay. 2011, where were you employed?
2011, I was employed at Fair.
Okay. I was thinking you still work there.
No, sir.
When did you leave that employment?
2014.
Okay. Well, what did they do at Farrah?
They make seat cushions and foam parts for BMW.
Okay.
How do you spell Farrah?
F-E-H-R-E-R.
Do you remember the night of July 13, 2011?
I do.
And why is that night memorable to you?
That would be the night that Nicole was shot in the parking lot.
Did you know Nicole?
Barely. We worked together, but we didn't interact much.
Okay. Well, tell me what you remember about being in the parking lot around that time.
It was shift change. We were just getting to work. You know, a lot of people in the parking lot. Everybody was trying to get inside. I just had got to work and was tying my shoes, and I heard what I thought was a gunshot. And I looked around because I thought it was kind of strange, and no one was running. No one was making any sort of indication that they were scared or anything. So I was like, well, maybe I was mistaken. Maybe it was a car backfiring or something. But as I'm looking around the parking lot to see if anybody's reacting, I see a dark-colored SUV speed away, and I didn't know what was going on.
Okay. Did you know what kind of SUV it was?
I don't know exactly. At the time, I thought it might be an Expedition.
Okay. And just dark color is what you remember it being?
Yes, sir.
What was your shift? What times did you work?
I worked third shift. I don't remember the exact time it was, but I know it was nighttime.
Okay.
I believe we started our shift at 11.
I want to show you states 100. And you see Farrah?
I already talked from this.
You never really seen it from 1,000 feet up there?
This would be
We need him to slide that, sir, if you don't mind. Slide that mic a tad closer to you so that the recorder can pick up. Or
Sure.
you just got to maybe reposition yourself out of it.
I don't want to block the recording. Point to Farrah.
This would be fair because the back parking lot.
Okay. And was there a certain parking lot designated for employees?
Well, this entire parking area was for employees.
Okay. And what is it? What's right here at the entrance?
Well, there's a gate there, a fenced-in area with an opening. A lot of the office workers parked up here.
Okay. So, but employees were parked on the other side of the gate in
Yes,
the back
sir.
area?
Yes.
Do you remember, I know this is difficult, do you remember approximately where you would have parked that night?
I remember exactly. I was parked right around here.
Okay. Could you tell from what direction the shots came from?
Came from this direction.
Okay. And where did you first see the SUV?
Parked facing towards the gate right around here. It was directly in my line of sight from where I was.
All right. And then after you heard the shot, it did what?
It sped off. I mean, it took a few seconds, obviously.
Okay. You remember approximately what time it was?
I don't. Sorry.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Mr. Quinn, my name is Phil Clark. I just got a couple of questions for you.
Yes, sir.
Did you see the SUV pull in
I did not.
or drive around at all?
I did not.
Okay. Did you see another car pull in around the same time?
No, sir.
And you didn't see anybody, you didn't see what was going on around this car, did
I honestly didn't even look up from what I was doing until I heard the gunshot.
you? You were concentrating on tying your shoes.
Yes, we have to wear steel-toed boots, so I would change from my tennis shoes into my steel-toed boots.
And you couldn't see what was going on around the car before you heard this shot ring out.
I did.
That's all I have for you.
Okay.
Step down. Thank you very much. All right, next witness, please.
I think that was Troy McBride.
You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony about giving this case will be true and the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
What's your rank at Fountain?
I'm Sergeant of Community Patrol.
Back in 2011, were you sergeant at that point?
No, I was patrolling.
When did you go to the academy to get certified as a police officer?
2002.
You've been an officer since 2002?
Yes, sir.
Where have you worked? Have you worked anywhere other than Fountain?
No, sir. I work currently at Fountain Police Department.
Now, Sergeant McBride, it's going to take you back to July 13th, 2011. You were on shift that night?
Yes, sir. I was.
Okay. You were dressed in uniform, kind of like you are today?
Yes, sir.
Did you receive a call from dispatch to respond out to the fair plant off of 385?
We did.
Okay. That's in the city limits of Fountain Inn?
Yes, sir. The sea limits Fountain Inn, Cameron Lawrence.
So you've shown this State 100 in the last witness, but that area look familiar to you?
Yes, sir. It does.
Okay. Is fair on this overhead satellite image?
Yes, sir. It is.
It'll be right here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There's a gate right here to enter into their main parking lot. Is that correct?
Where the dark gray concrete and the light concrete meet, that's where the big entry gate's at.
And of course, this is the frontage road that runs parallel to 385. Greenville is this way, Lawrence is back up that way.
Yes, sir.
And this is in Lawrence County.
Yes,
The
sir,
fair
it is.
plant is on Lawrence County, South Fountain.
Yes, sir. It is.
Thank you, Officer. I'm done. Now, Sergeant McBride, when you pull into there at fair, about what time is it? What time of night is it?
Around 9:30.
Okay, you go into that parking lot that you just saw. If you're facing fair to the left. It's the first thing you observed. Well, let me back up. Were there any other officers that responded with you?
Officer Clay Surratt, he was working with me that night.
Okay. And information you received from dispatch was there was potentially a shooting there at fair?
Yes, sir. That was the information that we received.
Okay. So when you go in the parking lot, what's the first thing you do?
We pulled into the parking lot. Officer Surratt at that time spoke with a couple employees, told them to stay inside. He began to search the front part of the parking lot. I took and went and searched the rear portion of the parking lot. During my search, I observed that there was a red Dodge Charger bearing South Carolina license plate GZP269. Also observed that the red Dodge Charger was running at that point in time. As I got closer to the Charger, I noticed I could see a black female in the car. I called out, and I received no response. Also saw that the window was open about that much. After receiving no response, I was able to stick my arm to the window, unlock the door. I found the black female, who was later identified as the victim of Cole Kingsborough, not responsive. Also observed that there was a pool of blood in the center console.
Okay. At that point, you knew you had a homicide scene, right?
Yes, sir.
So you and Officer Surratt able to secure the location?
Yes, we secured the area, put crime scene tape on that area. Officer Surratt stayed near the car. I went to search the area for any possible more victims or see if there was a suspect still in the area.
Okay. Was there any suspects still in there?
No, there was not.
Were you able to talk to anyone there that heard or saw anything?
I did not talk to any of the employees that night. Officer Surratt did.
Okay. And right around the car, let me do this. So, states 1 through 11, if you could just look just briefly at those. We can pull those up on the screen. Already have them from that objection. Just want to make sure you recognize them.
Yes, sir.
If you could, and as you're looking at those, Sergeant Surratt, McBride, those are fair active representations and scenes you remember at that moment?
They are.
Pull up states number 1. And if we pull them up one at a time, if you could describe to the jury what we're looking at.
This is the building of Farrow, the front entrance that runs alongside the front of the road.
Okay, number 2.
This is the exit and entry gate that employees have to go through when they arrive for shift.
Okay, that's on the left. If you face the building on the left side.
Yes, sir.
Number 3.
That is the Dodge Charger that was driven by the victim, Nicole Kingsborough.
Number 4.
That's the license plate that I observed that night that was on her car.
Number 5.
That is a piece of paper that was placed over a shell casing that was located near the car.
That only shell casing y'all found in the parking lot.
Yes, sir.
Number 6.
That's the shell casing that was laying on the ground.
Number 7.
That's the shell casing.
All right, were you able to tell just by looking at it what caliber it was?
No, sir, we didn't disturb it, didn't touch it, or move it at all.
You just secured it, marked it with that little piece of
Yes, sir.
paper until the crime scene was arrived.
Yes, sir.
Number 8.
That is the driver's side door of the Dodge Charger. That's the driver's side window where I stuck my arm through to unlock the door.
All right, it's locked when you walk up to it. You can try to open the door.
Yes, sir.
It's locked. Windows cracked, just like it is in this picture. When
Yes,
you
sir.
first approach.
Yes, sir.
I believe next is number 9. Good describe this picture.
That is how we found the victim, Ms. Kingsborough,
She was
slumped over.
slumped over in that position. Is there a console in the middle?
Yes, sir, there's center console. That's where the blood had started to pool.
Okay, sorry. Number 10.
That would be from the passenger side of the vehicle. And that is Ms. Kingsborough.
Okay, number 11.
That
Sir,
is,
if any member of the, actually brought this up earlier, ma'am, if you need to leave, feel free to go ahead and step outside and compose yourself. Just for the benefit of anyone who is here at any point in time, you find yourself unable to restrain your emotion or maintain your composure, just please feel free to quietly stand up and leave at that particular point in time. Okay? Thank you. Solicitor, please continue.
Number 11. Sorry.
that is the console of Ms. Kingsborough's Charger.
And ignition is still on.
Yes, sir.
Sergeant McBride, after you were able to secure the crime scene and observe the things that you saw, was the scene turned over to anybody after that?
It was turned over to our criminal investigative division at that point in time when they arrived on scene.
Okay, which investigators or detectives were there?
Detective Josh Payton and Detective Scott Hawkins.
And that's customary, uniform guys secure the scene, do some early investigation, and turn it over to detectives.
Yes, sir. That's per policy.
No further questions on this witness.
Thank you, Judge. Officer McBride, were you ever tasked with following up with the employees?
No, Officer Surratt, I believe, was.
To the best of your knowledge, were you ever able to locate anybody that saw what happened to the car before the shoot?
No.
And you know Officer Payton, Detective Payton.
Yes, sir.
Did he ever relate to you that when he admitted to shooting pieces of Nicole and that it was based on affairs that she was having with other people?
I do not recall.
But nonetheless, he didn't ask you to follow up on that.
No, sir.
That's all I have to say.
Any redirect?
No.
Thank you very much for coming. We'll appreciate it. All right, next witness.
State on Scott Hawkins. Obviously, we'd ask Sergeant Fry to be released.
These elements were required for testimony about giving this case the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Afternoon, Detective Hawkins.
Good afternoon, sir.
You work now for Fountain Inn Police Department.
I do, yes.
How long have you been with Fountain Inn?
I first became employed with Fountain Inn Police Department in August of 1998.
Okay. Did you work at any other law enforcement agencies before Fountain Inn?
I have, yes, I've worked at, I started my career at Abbeville County, to the Simpsonville Police Department, and then finally to Fountain Inn.
He needs to speak up a little bit.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Detective Hawkins, you just pull the mic a little bit closer to you, they pick you up a little bit better.
Okay. The better? Good, perfect.
Repeat that last question because she didn't pick it up. I think the clicking of the television is causing issues.
Okay.
Abbeville County Sheriff's Office, Simpsonville, and Fountain Inn Police Department.
Okay. Now, you've been at Fountain Inn for, I guess, 18 years now.
Yes, sir.
98, 2016, and you were there in 2011. You were working that night, July 13, 2011.
I was off at that particular time. However, I was the on-call investigator at the time. We rotate being on call between three, myself and two others.
Okay. And on-call investigator means you're at the house, but if there's a major crime that occurs, you call out to see you work until you get done.
That's correct, yes.
You get called out to the fair plan on 385 in the Fountain Inn that night?
Yes, sir, I did. I was contacted by our dispatch on my department cell phone at approximately 10:30 p.m. that evening. She advised me of the initial call and that our uniformed officers had gone to this particular plant and found a person who was apparently deceased in a vehicle. So at that time, I was requested to respond to that location.
Okay, and when you get to the scene, I know we just looked at states 1 through 11, Sergeant McBride. That's accurate, the way the scene appeared when you got there that night?
Yes, sir.
Same, that was the position that Nicole Kingsborough was laid in.
Exactly.
Were you able to observe any gunshot wounds on her, just right what appeared to be gunshot wounds?
Well, it was an apparent gunshot wound to me, and if I could kind of point, it appeared to be like in this area right in here, right around the left eye, right around the bridge of the nose, right in that area.
Based on your training experience, that looked like an entry wound or a gunshot wound.
It did appear to be an entry wound, yes.
Okay, was there an exit wound at all?
There was out the right side of the head.
Now, at that point, there was a marking on the ground behind the car, marking shelters. Right?
Correct, yes.
And was that piece of evidence documented by the crime scene investigators and taken?
It was, yes.
It was collected for further analysis later on. Right?
Correct.
And Ted Hawkins, at that point, were you able to talk to anybody there in the parking lot?
I did. I spoke with plant managers, the supervisors. I believe we actually had the one of the upper echelon from personnel come in that particular night. And I spoke with some of the people that were in the parking lot. In fact, I spoke with the witness who just left.
Okay. Mr. Jason Wynn was spoken to.
Correct. Correct.
Did FAIR indicate that they had any kind of surveillance of the parking lot?
They did. In fact, when we were talking with the managers of the plant, that's when we learned that there was a surveillance camera right there as at the entry-exit gate for the employees, if you will.
Okay, and as the investigators, y'all were able to get a copy of that surveillance from that evening?
We did secure a copy, yes.
You've been able to watch that video before it's done?
I have. Yes.
What cars did you see coming out, in and out of there that were of interest?
Observed the vehicle that you had just saw, the picture of the red Dodge Charger, which Miss Kingborough was located in. That vehicle was parked, when I got there, it was parked in the parking lot, but on the surveillance footage, you can see her vehicle, or a vehicle like hers, entering the gate. I'm not exactly sure of the exact time. And shortly thereafter, just almost directly behind, you can see a kind of a wine maroon or burgundy colored SUV following suit right behind what appears to be Miss Kingsborough.
Okay. Following in immediately behind her, a few seconds. I mean, how long do you recommend?
Not very far behind. I mean, I would, from the video that I've seen, I would say that, I mean, it would be apparent that you could see him behind you. I mean, it was less than 2 seconds behind, certainly.
She pulls in the Charger, less than 2 seconds, you see him pull in the SUV.
I believe so, correct.
And ultimately, you were able to find through further investigation that the defendant, Benny Brown, had a burgundy or dark red colored SUV.
That's correct, yes.
We could publish states at 75 for the jury, Your Honor, having already agreed that's coming in there. Your Honor, for efficiency's sake, we'll try to get it to the, it's going to get to the point of the video, it's relevant. Go back one frame and pause it. Except Hawkins, this shows SUV coming in the parking lot. On the bottom, it does say July 13th, 7/13/2011. What's the time on that?
2150. In the military time, that would be 9:50 p.m.
9:50 p.m. Your Honor, again, we're going to try to get the relevant portion to save time. You could go back to 2155. Detective Hawkins, I believe, coming out, it's hard to see at this point, at some point here around 12:55, y'all observed a burgundy color vehicle.
That's correct, yes.
And there again, on this, I don't believe that's the vehicle we're talking about. I'm just trying to save the jury some time. If you observe during this little 2-minute time range, burgundy vehicle coming out of the parking lot at some point.
You do, yes.
It's several minutes after it follows in this short.
Correct.
Thank you. Now, Detective Hawkins, you indicated that a shell casing was found. Was there ever any spent bullet found on the scene anywhere?
There was in the front passenger door of the red and color Charger.
And Detective Hawkins, the Greenville County forensics specialist has been called in as well to help work the vehicle. Is that correct?
They did, yes, and that's standard for us because the majority of this city of Fountain is in Greenville County. Greenville County has their own crime scene division, if you will. So standard that we use them pretty much on the majority of our crimes.
Okay. Crime scene investigator Linway from Greenville County helped process the car that night?
He was one of them, yes.
Okay. This bullet, spent bullet, actually was found in between. Is it passed through the car? Was in the door, basically?
That's correct, yes.
And that was collected for further analysis?
It was, yes.
The coroner called in to take custody of Ms. Kingsbury's body.
They were, yes.
She was ultimately, to your knowledge, taken for an autopsy in
Newberry, yes.
And all the information that was gathered from the pathologist in Newberry was made part of y'all's case file?
It was.
You said Detective Payton was working with you that night?
I contacted Detective Payton and advised him that I can't remember if I had already arrived or was en route to the fair on this night, but I contacted him and advised him that I may need some help and requested that he respond as well.
Okay. And did he come to the scene and meet you at the scene?
He did. He was there for a short period of time. He was on scene.
All right. You stayed at the scene to help work the scene. Where did Detective Payton go after that?
Detective Payton went to Clinton, Barrel Stave Road. We had received information. Initial information that we had got was that Mr. Brown had contacted family members and admitted to killing Miss Kingsbury in the parking lot there at Fair. We also were advised that he was possibly at I-385 and I-26, somewhere around that area, and he had potentially or possibly committed suicide. This was later determined to be unfounded, I believe, by Lawrence County Sheriff's Office. And then it was determined that he was, in fact, at this house on Barrel Stave Road, which I believe was his residence at the time.
Detective Payton actually was there at the residence, and he was able to interview Mr. Brown after he was taken to custody, correct?
He did, yes.
Thank you, court's indulgence.
Yes.
Just briefly, when y'all arrived at the scene, the door to the Charger was actually closed. Everything was locked, correct?
When initial officers arrived, it was locked. I believe Sergeant McBride, I was advised upon my arrival, but when I arrived on scene, the door to the Charger, the driver's door was open. I was advised that Sergeant McBride physically reached his hand in the door in an attempt to render aid to who was identified as Miss Kingsbury.
And so when you arrived, the door was open. And at that point, Fountain and Greenville forensics were starting to work the scene, correct?
Correct, yes. I requested Lieutenant Nelson secure a search warrant for the vehicle so it could be processed by forensics, which he did.
And the person in the car had no pulse at that point?
No, sir. She was checked by EMS as well as Fountain Fire Department, first responders. That's correct.
Completely unresponsive.
Correct.
No further questions of this witness.
Ross?
Thank you, Judge. You were advised that Benny had called family members and admitted what he did.
Correct, yes.
Did you get any further description about that, his emotional state, the fact that he was crying, sobbing?
I personally, no, I did not.
Did you ever learn that?
Not until just recently.
A little while ago?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever receive information from Detective Payne that Benny went there to confront Nicole about infidelities?
I did, yes.
And were you ever tasked with following up to determine if there was evidence to corroborate that?
Infidelity?
Yes.
No.
For instance, I believe Ms. Kingsborough's purse was in the car with her.
I'd have to look through my notes. I know just without looking at my notes, she was, as Sergeant McBride said, slumped over the center console, and I know she was holding a BlackBerry cellular device in her right hand. As far as the purse, I don't remember.
You don't remember the purse being turned over to the court?
It could possibly have been, yes. I'm just saying
You don't recall that?
I don't recall it.
And you don't recall any steps to look at evidence, like through a billfold or cell phone information or anything like that, in following up on the question of infidelity?
As far as the purse, I never did search the purse. Now, we did obtain a court order and or a search warrant to attempt to search her cell phone, her cellular device, which we were unsuccessful. We didn't have the password, so, and the way BlackBerry works at that time, or I was advised at that time, you have 10 attempts to enter a password in an attempt to open the phone, and after that 10th attempt, it will completely wipe the phone blank, which we didn't want to do that, so we tried. We even had the FBI attempt to get into it, and we were unsuccessful.
Sure, but in terms of text messages, you can send a preservation letter to the phone carrier, and they'll preserve information, numbers dialed, text messages. Did you do that?
I want to say one was done. I personally did not do that, but I want to say that Captain Hamilton did.
You don't recall what they may have revealed?
I don't. No.
So I don't really think.
Sir, thank you. Step down.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, by my count, I've had you there for about, and you were pretty good, sir. I've had you there for about an hour and 35 minutes. So we're going to take a brief 5 or 10 minute break. If anybody smokes, just let the bailiff know. He'll take you outside for a cigarette. Don't discuss the case. We'll be back on the record in about 5 minutes. Okay? Thank you very much, Lawrence.
Judge, we can